Hi there, everybody. My name is Godfrey Oni, Marketing Coordinator for Sherwood Inspection Services, and you are tuned into another episode of Teach Me Tuesday. And I have David Sherwood here with me today.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you out there today.
And today, what we are going to discuss is wood destroying insects, and more specifically, what we're going to talk about is the treatment process of an infestation.
Yeah, good question. So, the ones that we want to talk about are the ones easiest for us to understand. And of course, we have our big four. We have our subterranean termites, and then we have our carpenter ants, and then we have our powder post beetles and our carpenter bees. So let's take the carpenter bee first because that's easiest. Carpenter bee doesn't do a lot of damage, but if you have enough of them, it can wreak havoc. So to treat for carpenter bees, there's a couple of ways. If it's just one or two nuisance, and let me tell you something little about carpenter bees that a lot of people don't know. Carpenter bees will act like hummingbirds. They can stand still in one position and just hover there for long periods of time. So if you're outside and you have one or two of those hanging around the house, and you'll be able to see them get up fairly close, their hiney is shiny. So shiny hiney, carpenter bee, furry rear end, and it's a bumblebee. So if we take a look at the carpenter bees and the damage that they do, the treatment for that is you'll usually have it done professionally. They'll come with a pesticide that they'll spray up into their nesting area, and it will kill off the nest and kill off the carpenter bees. If you have one or two, you could plug the hole and paint over top of it. Oftentimes it's the bare wood that draws them because it's easier. It doesn't gum up as they start getting through the wood. I've seen them do it to wood and stains, but not very often. So best way to prevent that is paint the wood.
Okay. And what sort of pesticides do they typically use?
Well, there are varying pesticides, and getting into them can vary depending on whether you have a Terminex, which has their own brands, and various others. Not something that you can easily pick up on the shelf. If we get into carpenter ants, now there are some treatments that you can get at the Home Depots if they are not nesting in the house. Okay. So here's the difference. If you have a carpenter ant and you notice the carpenter ants trailing, best time to notice them is at dusk or in the evening, and you'll see them trailing into the house. They look like a train of ants coming in. That means they're nesting out in a tree someplace and they're getting inside the house. They're coming in for sugar or for other things or water. So food or water. So with those, you can treat the perimeter of the house with an ant insecticide that you can buy at your hardware store. If that does not work, or if rain comes and kind of washes that away, and please be careful if you have a well, particularly if it's a shallow well and it's near the house. You don't want to be over treating. This is where you may need to reach out for a professional. So you can start with that. And the next one that we have is the termites. The termites have to be treated professionally. There are two ways that can be done. The first one is they will inject into the ground with a rod about the same size as the probe, although it's straight, and that goes down into the ground, typically about 36 to 38 inches, and it sprays out either a foam or a termiticide, which creates a barrier around the exterior, and then you'll do it inside. So you've got drill holes in the floor all the way around, and they will inject that in there, which creates the barrier that blocks the subterranean termites, which live 10 to 14 feet, usually below grade, to come up in the house. The other way they do it is they do bait stations. Bait stations are tricky. You have to pay attention. You have to make sure that the company that's putting them in is servicing them on a regular basis. You shouldn't see them pop above ground. You shouldn't see them get waterlogged or the top missing. These are things that need to be checked, particularly in the beginning when you've got the insecticide in there, or the termiticide in this case. that they get checked once in a while, or regularly, not once in a while, and that they get replaced if they need to be, because what that's going to do is the termite takes it and brings it back to the nest to feed the young. And if it can't bring it back to the nest because everything's waterlogged, you're going to lose that whole protection. So the idea between the bait station is to be able to get rid of the termite colony that is underground nearby. Conversely, the barrier is protection to help stop them from coming in. And so the two are for different purposes, but either one can be used. Then we get into our last one, and our last one is the powder post beetle. So the powder post beetle is typically found in basements. They're sometimes found in other areas, and it's where the wood has gotten softened from humidity. Not usually wet from a leak, a drip leak. It's usually a large area where it's been humid for a long period of time, and then the powder post beetles get in, lay their eggs, and take the cellulose as they exit and do quite a bit of damage. Their leftover remnants is a powder, and it's fine like talcum powder, although it'll be tanner. But normally that's what you'll see afterwards. So if you start to see little BB holes in your wood and you start to see this powder all over the place, you know chances are it's powder post beetle. And so that is usually treated. Originally they can use an insecticide, but the best way to do it is dehumidify the space and seal the wood with a Timbor or Boracare. That will harden it, looks like a urethane, goes on like water, and it seals and hardens that wood so they're not going to penetrate it. So those would be the treatment of those four. That's most common. There are other methods. Check with your professional if you have any questions.
Do you have any particular professionals that you work with in terms of, I guess, if anyone that you, whose home you inspect has an infestation, do you recommend them to anybody in particular? We do, and that's a good question. There's some very good professionals out there, and so on our webpage, we have, depending on your area, we have a list of those people that will do that, the professional termite treatment and wood-destroying insect treatment companies. That's very different than one that goes out and does your lawn or goes out and does the golf course. Those are called turf pest inspectors and professionals. We're talking about wood-destroying insect professionals. So yes, we have those, and we have those ready for you on our website. Go to sherwoodinspection.com and go to our vendor page, and voila, it'll be there to support you. And if you have any questions, make sure you call us. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to our Teach Me Tuesday series on pest management. Please check out our Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube channels. Like, share, and subscribe to all your friends. Dave, do you have any last words? Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this was helpful for you, and avoid your pest today. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye now.